Hello, kindergartners. Welcome to another great day of comprehension with Miss Ronigan. Today, we're going to continue to talk about making predictions and making inferences. Remember, we want to use what we already know and what we read or what we see to make good guesses of what is going to happen next. So that means you need to use that very smart brain of yours, and we need to use clues and evidence from our story to make our predictions and to make our inferences. Now, we already know and talked about last week how we make predictions every single day. When you wake up, or even maybe the night before, you have to make a prediction about what you're going to wear. Is it going to be really cold out, maybe snowy or rainy? If so, you need your jacket and boots. Is it going to be really sunny and warm? Maybe it would be a good day for shorts. We also make predictions when we are reading. We want to look at the cover and the title and the pictures to see what is this book going to be about. Is it going to be a book that you're going to like and enjoy reading? We also make predictions in math, science to figure out what is going to happen to that science experiment, what is going to be the answer in our science equation. And of course, one of my favorites is making predictions of what I am going to eat for dinner. Now, we've talked about all of those everyday predictions, but today we're really going to focus on making predictions when we look at the pictures and the title of a book. So it is so important to be great investigators and to really focus in on the title, which is the words, and the pictures about what is going to happen in the story before we read it. Remember, we can make predictions before we read, while we read, and we can continue to make predictions after. So today, we are going to begin a story that takes place on a farm. So I want you to picture in your brain and visualize. Have you ever been to a farm? Give me a thumbs up if you have. Have you ever read a book or seen a movie that takes place on a farm? Double thumbs up if you have done that. So now I really want you to close your eyes and imagine that you are standing on a farm right this minute. Look around in your mind and try to answer these questions. What do you see as you look around this farm? Look around in your brain and try to figure out, what are you looking at? What sounds do you hear as you're on this farm? Is it noisy? Is it quiet? Do you hear animals? What do you smell? Take a big breath in. Try to pretend you're on that farm. What are you smelling? And last, what do you feel? Is it windy on this farm? Do you feel animals or grass? I want you to keep all of these sights, sounds, smells, and feeling in your brain as we read this story. This will help you put yourself into the setting or the location of the story when it is taking place. All right, you can open your eyes now because I'm going to show you the title of our book. We always know that the title is the words. So the words here, or the title reads, Who's in the Shed? Now, at the very end, it has a question mark. So we have to try to figure out who is going to be in the shed. Here is the front cover of our story. We see the title. We also see some pictures. We see lots of animals here. I wonder if these animals are going to be in the shed. At the very bottom, we also see the author's name down here. Our author of this story is Brenda Parks. Now, before I read a story, I always like to know a little bit about the author of the books that I read. If I flip all the way to the back, I see a big rectangle. Now it says about the author. There is a picture of somebody, and it says Brenda Parks. That was our author's name, so I can make an inference that this picture is probably our author. Let's figure out what our author is interested in. Brenda Parks is an internationally renowned education consultant, children's author, early literacy teacher, and researcher. Her best-selling books include Who's in the Shed, this book, and The Enormous Watermelon. Brenda has presented keynote papers, workshops, and seminars in Australia, England, Canada, and the United States. Wow, that is all over the world. She lives in Australia with her husband, David, and their Shetland sheepdogs, Max and Lady. Oh, very fun. So, reading about what a good writer Brenda Parks is makes me even more curious about this book. And now that I know that Who's in the Shed is one of her best selling books, I want to know why. So, let's flip back to the cover. Now, whenever I start a new book, I always make some predictions before I read. When you predict, you guess in advance what you'll read about. Before, we have been also talking about how good readers make inferences or smart guesses. So let's see if we can make some inferences about this book. The title of this book is Who's in the Shed? There we have it, right up there. Now, also on the cover, I see many farm animals. If I flip to the inside of the cover right here, I see something right there. It is a shed. Ooh, so I see the shed right here on the inside of the front cover. Based on this information, I can probably infer that the shed is on the farm. Ooh, so now we need to make some predictions to learn who is going to be in the shed. Maybe an animal is going to be in the shed. Maybe we can make a prediction that one of these animals are going to be in the shed. All right, so I want you to make a prediction right now. Pause the video and take a second to make a prediction of what animal do you think is going to be in this shed and why. So pause the video and make this prediction. Click play when you are ready and have already made your prediction. All right, I hope you made your prediction about who you think is going to be in the shed. Now, right now, we don't have the answer, so this is just a guess. Our prediction might be right, but it might be wrong, and that's okay. I predict that a horse might be in the shed because I know that horses like to be in barns, and maybe this shed is like the barn of the farm. Now, let's keep reading to figure out what this book is going to tell us. Who's in the shed? It's pretty black. Look at all those eyeballs looking around. Down at the farm one Saturday night, the animals woke with a terrible fright. There was howling and growling and roaring and clawing as something was led from a truck to the shed. Who's in the shed? Everyone said. Who's in the shed? Ooh, let's look right down here at the truck. What kind of truck has pulled up to the shed? Can you tell what kind of truck that is? If we zoom in, it says that it is a circus truck. I wonder what a circus truck would be doing on this farm, or what kind of animals would the circus truck have inside of it? Now, what sounds were coming from the truck? It says there was howling, growling, roaring, and clawing. Oh, so I wonder if whatever is coming from that truck to the shed makes those noises. Can you take a guess about what animals might come out of that truck? Are there any new predictions that we can think about? If I were to think about my horse that I think might be in the shed, do horses howl? No. Do horses growl? No. Do horses roar and claw? No, they don't. No horse that I've ever met has done any of those things. So I'm going to change my prediction, and maybe you want to too. So if you'd like to pause the video and try to think of another prediction, I welcome you to do so. I am going to change my prediction as well. I know that wolves howl. I wonder if maybe a wolf might be in the shed. I don't know if a wolf will come from the circus truck, but that is going to be my new prediction. Did your prediction change, or was it the same? Oh boy, here we go. Let's keep on reading. Let me have a peep, baa the big white sheep. Let me have a peep. So the sheep had a peep through a hole in the shed. What did she see? Oh boy, we see a lot of brick. And the sheep is reaching up tall to look, and we see something right here. It's white, looks a little brown, has black. To me, it kind of looks like an eyeball. So we just saw a clue. Can you now predict who is in the shed? We can take some more guesses. Do you have other guesses of who you think it might be? I don't know. I guessed a wolf. A wolf could maybe have brown fur, and it does have white and black eyes, so maybe it is a wolf. Do you think that the sheep will know who it is? Think the sheep can see inside? Boy, maybe. Let's see who is going to be next. My turn now, mooed the sleek brown cow. My turn now. So the cow had a peep through a hole in the shed. What did she see? Take a look. The cow also sees the eyeball, but sees another clue. Whoa, right there. That is a big tooth. Oh my, we see two parts of this clue. Do you think the cow will be able to tell who is in the shed? So far we got to hear from the sheep and from the cow. So far if I take a look at the way the story is going, I can make a prediction that next we're going to hear from another animal. We also just use clues in the pictures and in the words to help us make these predictions. We use the clues from the circus truck. We use clues that the sheep saw an eye. The sheep sees a teeth, so it has to be an animal. What kind of animal do you think has a brown fur, an eyeball, and big teeth? If you have an idea, whisper it to me. All right, so this is a good strategy of making predictions to use whenever we read or listen to a story. We're going to keep practicing this strategy later this week and tomorrow when we keep reading Who's in the Shed. The pictures and the words of this book help give us readers clues to help make predictions. We can predict who's in the shed and what might happen next. So we think that what might happen next is that another animal might be able to peer into the shed to find out who it might be. Since so far the sheep and the cow peeped in, that helps us to predict that on the next page, maybe another farm animal might peep in the shed. So now, friends, I want you to go onto Seesaw to complete the Seesaw activity. After we've listened to all of these clues in the story, I want you to use some of these clues to make your prediction of who you think is in the shed. All by yourself. I want you to try to draw that animal and label it. So draw those lines and try your best to spell out those words of who you think might be in the shed. Then tomorrow we will keep on reading to figure out what the animal actually is. I cannot wait to see who you predict will be in the shed. Great job today. I love you and I miss you. See you later.